Peter,
Hi, Tim.
thank you so much for coming on. This is a real highlight for me. We've known each other for going on 4 years now, I'd say. But apart from our friendship, you have got the ownership of a company called Vox Singing Academy, one of Melbourne's largest and best singing academies with multiple locations around Melbourne.
Yep.
You've been teaching singing for 27 years, not only just to the everyday singer that wants to sing, but also some really high caliber people in Lee Harding, Morat. The list goes on if I were to say it. But that's my sum up of you. But I guess for people listening along and don't know about you, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, myself, my main point with Vox Singing Academy is when I come back from the United States, which was in the early 90s, and I was getting singing lessons still then. I found a hole in the market. I thought there wasn't a singing teacher out there that was really having singing lessons or designing singing lessons for the live singing performer, and that's where I felt there was a big niche. There were lots of singing teachers that just giving singing lessons, but I really wanted to, I felt that I built Vox Singing Academy to fill that niche there that I was wanting, because I ended up pretty much teaching myself. So that's where sort of Vox Singing Academy really came from as well. So that was the start of Vox Singing Academy there. With myself, I started singing when I was in church choir, sort of developed up through that, ended up going over to the States, studied over there, performing over there, coming back here, finding that niche there as well too. Was performing over here as well too when I came back, but I just found myself being getting a lot busier doing the teaching than performing, and I felt my passion was in teaching as well too. I was just naturally led to it, really. So I just really had a passion for teaching and helping people out, and helping other singers, and it really just led me down to the path that we're on now, and I've really enjoyed it, which has been the main point. So I've enjoyed it. I do it because I enjoy doing it more than performing and writing and doing the other things. So, and that's the honest truth behind it. People go, why are you a singing teacher? I do really enjoy it. I love helping people improve their voice and also improve their life. That's really the main point.
Yeah, definitely, because singing can give someone such confidence, I think. I think there's especially the live singing, and that's the market gap that you fill, and teaching someone to get up on stage. I'd be interested to know, how do you go about easing someone into that so they're not nervous? So someone that's nervous about singing on stage live, how do you take them from that to then belting out that big note and nailing it? How does that process work?
It's all really to do with practice. Really. So within the singing lessons that we provide, we go through all the steps before a student goes up and does a student concert. We run regular student concerts every 6 to 8 weeks, and they're not a competition. They're there to gain valuable experience up on a professional stage in a relaxed environment. But how we go through that process is, within the class, we would work through songs that the student obviously enjoys and that they're doing quite well and they feel confident with those. And then we just add on all the other parts before we get up on stage. And those parts would be, firstly, singing into a microphone, stage presentation, speaking to the crowd, using a microphone properly, so when they're going for that big note, they're going to be pulling away slightly. And we practice and rehearse that in lessons. They practice and rehearse that at home until it's 110%. We have a saying at Vox Singing Academy, it's got to be 110%. And then we basically just say, okay, you're ready to go up on stage. And if they're still a little bit nervous, we invite the student down to observe one of our student concerts, to get comfortable at the environment, what the stage looks like, beforehand. So even if they're really nervous, we invite them down to come and have a look at the environment, because that's very important when you go to a venue for the first time or a new place for the first time. You're very nervous. You don't know where things are. But the second time that you go to wherever it is, you feel more comfortable because you've been there before and you're more relaxed. So yeah, that's the process, basically, picking out songs. The main point with singing, especially before you go up on stage, is being 110% confident in your abilities, that you can present the song very, very well. And then we add on all the other little blocks. So the number one point, the foundation, is getting the song down to 110%, microphone technique, stage presentation, talking to the crowd. And we even practice walking up on stage as well too, because you have to walk up on quite a large stage.
You don't want to trip.
We don't want to mess that up. We want to know where it is, where the mic is, where they're going to finish, so everything's done here at Vox from start to finish. And that's the same thing with all performers when they're getting up on stage as well too. And that just transgresses right up to professional performers as well too. So yeah, does that answer?
It does certainly. I'd love to actually touch on your initial singing in choir, actually. Just go back to that, because you've got quite a good range in your voice, and people often talk about range, and depth of range. And do you think having that traditional background, like I've known like classical singers who've then diverted into pop singing, but they can then bring that range into it. So how important is, I guess, that choir background even? And someone who wants to be a rock star and their mum and dad is forcing them to go to choir, how do they not get discouraged and sort of be like, well, this is actually going to be useful for my voice? How have you found it?
Well, just to reverse engineer that, you should always be doing something that you enjoy. So, out there, kids, if you don't like choir, don't do it. So always, and talk to your parents about it. If your parents are wanting you to do something or forcing you into an area in your life that you don't particularly want to go to, just sit them down and say, hey, look, I don't like doing this. It's not making me happy. I'd rather do this. And the parents should be really supportive of that as well too.
Yeah. Right.
So have that honest chat with your parents or whoever it is.
Be like, hey, I like singing. I love singing. I still want to, sing as part of a thing that I do, but maybe I want to start a rock band, or maybe I want to, maybe I want to go do opera instead of choir. Or whatever it is.
Exactly, yeah. So really, number one thing is find your passion and find your genre that you really love singing, because that's gonna be the fuel for your fire to do it when you don't, when you're tired. And it's even with me with Vox Singing Academy, that's my fuel when I'm tired and if I'm sick or if I'm not feeling that I don't want to do it. That's what gets me out of bed. Even I was speaking to you before the podcast, I'm going, man, I've had a big night. And
you're still a rock star at heart, aren't you?
And still, we have to front up, and this is what we have to do, and this is what I enjoy doing is doing this and helping people out, helping the singers in the community out as well too. So that's the number one point. With choir, that more so taught me more so harmonies as well too, because you're generally singing the root, third and fifth. So that taught me generally how harmonies work. So the ear was well developed by then. By the time I finished primary school, taught me to sing very well, to sing in key as well too. So that was a really big thing. So had a lot of basics before I sort of started off in the journey of wanting to sing properly and do things like that. So it taught me the basics of it, even more than the basics as well too. So I had a very good foundation without even really knowing what I had, the knowledge that I had acquired really. So that was really the big thing. So, and then that sort of really led me off into everything else, so I had a good foundation, a good bedrock to sort of propel into in the future.
And then fast forward to, you then followed, I guess, your passion for singing. So tell me a bit about what your genre was and how that shaped you as a singer and a teacher today.
Well, my genre that I really like has always been pop and rock. that's been my big genres that I've always grown up with. You know, the Beatles, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Beatles. Well, I would be here because my mum and dad created me, but I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for the Beatles. That was really the big one that really got me into music. And my mum was a Beatles fan, and also when I was growing up, there was a Beatles cartoon as well too. So that was on a lot. So they were the real big influence of what I really like, the catchiness, and then just really going through, my parents' record collection and listening to other things as well too, which broadened my perspective on music as well. So my parents were also into a lot of traditional European folk music as well too, but pop was really the big one, and then it sort of just went from there to, a lot of the big classic singers back in the 70s when I was young growing up. The Queen were a big one.
Zeppelin.
Yes, definitely Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. But it was Queen. Johnny Farnham was a big influence.
Yeah, being in Australia.
In the early 80s, he was a really big one because, he was a great voice, and just, trying to sing along to him and doing what he was doing. There's a great learning curve doing that. Freddie Mercury again as well too, just singing along to Freddie, just it was like, wow. I remember just singing along to a lot of those guys going, I've either got to improve or I've got to quit, because this is the benchmark that these guys are doing that are very good singers. So that really sort of propelled me and drove me onto wanting to do that.
How do you not get discouraged if you can't reach? You're a singer, you're a bathroom singer, a bedroom singer, a car singer. But you're singing along to Adele or Freddie Mercury, or and you just can't quite hit those notes. How did you not get discouraged? These megastars, what did you?
It's a great question, and it's a very, very important question. It's an important question for everyone to know. And I think the earlier that you get to know this, the better it is for yourself as a singer, but just in life in general, is self-awareness. I think is an amazing skill that I didn't learn for a long time, to probably deep into my 30s. On a personal note, obviously singing, I learnt pretty quickly trying to sing along to some of these, these amazing singers. But just, I just remember singing along to these amazing singers going, well, look, I'm not them, but I'm going to do the best that I can. And that's really the thing that all singers want to do as well too, is that just accept yourself, accept your voice, and sing in keys that feel good, that are comfortable, where you're not straining or hurting yourself, or it's becoming not fun, because there are great singers in every genre and in every level, so singing light, low, medium and high. So self-awareness is a really big one. Be comfortable with yourself, accept yourself for who you are, and love yourself, and accept your voice, and just be thankful that you have a voice, because there are some people out there that can't speak. So appreciate what you've got. But self-awareness is the big one. And if you love Adele, that's great. There are lower, I call her a soul singer, that sing lower and go and sing some songs that are lower. Or you can YouTube Adele instrumentals in lower keys. So most of the big hits, you can YouTube them in concert pitch, or you can say, YouTube lower key, so you can sing the songs in a lower key. And so, do that.
That's how you're gonna do it.
You can tune songs down. You can always do it. So you can still do your favourite songs, do them lower.
Definitely. How often do you get people that come to you based on just a really popular song and that's what they want to learn? Is that, because that's the cool thing about singing. It's a cool thing about learning guitar as well, is it's very easy to pick songs that you like to sing. So how often is that a case? And then is it easy to be like, oh no, maybe you shouldn't tackle that one first and let's do this one instead? Or how does that conversation go?
Okay, so with that, I don't do so much of that right now, because I teach more of the advanced professional singers. But earlier on when I was teaching, a perfect scenario of that is, and it's very common, is that someone wants to sing a song at their wedding. So they've got a particular song, they've never had singing lessons, and they want to do this song. And I always say yes, yes, yes. I assess their range first and foremost, see what I've got to work with, to see that the song's going to best suit their key. And they've obviously probably already been playing around with it, so they can probably sing it. But then if it's not in a suitable key, we might take it higher or lower, depending on what they want to do. And, we'd get an instrumental that would suit their voice, and we'd start working through the song and giving them skills to improve their voice for that. That's the biggest scenario that we have are the wedding singers that want to do one song for their wedding.
The Adam Sandler types, how do you, the wedding singer?
There we go, what a movie. But but really, it's not really that. Normally people come in with a genre or a person they're inspired by. And again, it's self-awareness and what you can do. And even with that as well too, Tim, a perfect example is I had a student come in quite a while ago and was hugely inspired by Christina Aguilera. And, we all know Christina Aguilera is a fantastic singer. So, and I know Christina Aguilera fairly well. She was a beginner singer. Didn't have a lot of skills, didn't have a big range. So I said, look, let's start with What a Girl Wants, and the second song, let's do Genie in a Bottle. So 2 first album Christina Aguilera songs where Christina Aguilera didn't have much of a voice. And I just also said, look, Christina Aguilera didn't have this big voice back then. Listen to the whole album, the first album. She accepted that, and we nailed these 2 songs, and she was happy as you could ever be that she's done 2 Christina Aguilera songs. And then we went and did another one that was a little bit hard. And as her skills got better and her voice expanded, we did harder songs. And then we were doing some, we ended up doing Fighter and Hurt, and still struggling a little bit on the bridge in Hurt. We just did the high bits in falsetto instead of going true voice like Christina Aguilera does. But that's how we progressed through that. But that was a progression over sort of 4 or 5 months there as well too. That wasn't in a couple of weeks. But
so she learned 4 or 5 Christina Aguilera songs, 4 or 5 Aguilera songs within a span of how long?
Oh wow! We did the first 2 in the span of about 4 or 5 weeks. So we had them nailed in
Aguilera songs in 4 or 5 weeks.
In 4 or 5 weeks from a beginner. But you got to think though as well too. That was my professional discretion, picking out songs that were in line with the student's ability. Okay, so I picked out 2 beginner to intermediate Christina Aguilera songs, and we nailed them. But the big thing was, again, self-awareness. I said, look, Christina Aguilera didn't have this huge big voice that she possesses now. Listen to the first album. There's not a lot happening there. And Christina Aguilera was doing the best with her voice at that particular time. So, the progression was fairly quick there. We got the first song down in 3 weeks, and that's our guarantee as well too. Is to feel strength and feel the difference in your voice, and to be able to knock out a song in 3 to 5 weeks is the Vox Singing Academy guarantee.
I'd actually love to get into that a little bit more, but I've got a question to ask beforehand that I was interested in, but it lends itself to it. If anybody, I've heard you say, if you can speak, you can sing.
Yep.
Let's dispel the myth, I guess, of you've got to be born with a singing voice, but if you can speak, you can sing.
If you can speak and sing, and if you can hear, you can sing, okay? So just to do with that, when you sing, you're using the same vocal cords that you are to speak and to communicate. So that dispels that myth. And then the other thing is that you need to be able to hear, have good hearing, because you need to sing in key. And it's fairly easy to learn as well too. Generally, we learn that from singing along to our favourite songs to start with. We don't even know that we're singing in key or off key for that matter. And you sing along and you use your favourite singers as soundboards. That's how everyone always starts. I started with the Beatles. So that's where that starts. But then as you start to progress and get better, and work your voice and do harder songs, you might find, I'm not hitting that note. How am I going to do this? And then you generally got to find a way to do it, or you got to get tuition. So,
because you can tell, you were recently at my housewarming birthday party, and my twin brother was there, and he was talking, and you said to him, have you ever sung before? And he's a shy guy, so he'd say, sorry, Chris, but you said you've got quite a raspy voice. It would be very cool to put you behind a mic. Have you ever done it? So you can almost tell if someone can have a unique singing voice by their speaking voice. Is that correct?
100%. Your speaking voice is just an extension of your singing voice. So I've got some singers that have got very husky speaking voices. So their singing voice is very much like that. So yeah, my voice is just an extension. So if I'm singing, let it be. So it's just an extension of my speaking voice. My voice isn't going, let it be, and changing from what my speaking voice is. So it's in the same timbre. That's what how we grade voices. I could just hear that your brother's voice is a little bit husky and sitting a little bit higher. So, he would have had a slightly huskier voice, maybe similar to the guy from maybe Nickelback or something like that, or maybe Rod Stewart. So,
It's easy to like that.
Or even if you listen to Jimmy Barnes speak, most Australians have heard Jimmy Barnes speak. He's got slightly a husky voice when he speaks. So when he sings, it's just an extension of that.
I'll flip that though. What about the surprise packet you get on the singing shows, that they come out like this with this small little voice and then bang there? What about that? What happens there? Or is that just that maybe their personality is a little bit, but then when they sing they're different? Or?
Are you talking about volume or huskiness or confidence when they're singing?
I'm probably talking about all. Yeah, it's a three-pronged thing. Maybe confidence, because you get that singer that comes out that you just don't expect it, and then all of a sudden they surprise you.
Yep. As and any young people that are watching this podcast, confidence is developed. You have to develop and work on confidence.
Confidence is gained by doing.
It doesn't just happen by itself. You just don't wake up in the morning going, geez, I'm a confident person. Because if I went to build this house, I would be very unconfident because I haven't got the ability to do that. But if I wanted to be confident in that skill, I would have to go to trade school and learn the trade, and then I would be very proficient and confident with that after 4 years, after an apprenticeship. I'm sure that I would be. And the same thing goes with singing. So it's exactly the same thing. So if someone's not confident, we start them off with very low and easy scales, and we work on their diaphragm for projection and do high scales and crying scales and work techniques, and it just snowballs from there. So that's really where it is. And then ultimately practicing that just relentlessly at home over and over and over again until it's 110%. And you can perform it anywhere. Just pull it out anywhere. That's where it is. Doesn't matter whether you're at your auntie's or at Christmas or wherever it is. You can just get up and just go and just go and sing wherever it is. It will just come out. So that's the projection, the confidence one. You see a lot of them walking out there and they're sort of very timid. It's a bit of a show. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Those shows, they're very much related to ratings.
I was going to ask, it was going to be a question, what, as a singing teacher, because you've taught people that have been on The Voice, you've probably taught people that have been on Australian Idol. All of them. Yeah, so all the talent shows, Australian Idol, Australia's Got Talent, The Voice. You've taught people that have gone on that. Yep. Obviously, we don't want to get in any trouble by saying something, but I'd love to get a singing teacher's opinion, especially a stage singing teacher. That's the gap. You will take someone, if someone wants to audition, listening along, you want to audition for The Voice or whatever.
Yep.
Go to Peter, because I think Peter will show you how to get up on that stage.
Yep.
Because that's where you're getting these people that are bathroom singers and car singers, and they go, all right, I'll go on the thing. But my first question to this is, what's your opinion on those shows? And or what have you seen by training people that have been, that's probably the better question. What have you seen by training people that have been on The Voice?
Yeah. With that as well too, I do have some YouTube clips on preparation for these reality TV shows. So one, how to actually audition in a cattle call, where you actually line up for hours and then go and audition in front of not even a judge, you'll just be a producer generally, and also how to audition via video if you're remotely as well too. So I do have 2 YouTube clips on that if you want to, if anyone wants to source.
I mean, I'd love to even get into that. Like, that's actually probably a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, well, that's the first step with preparation for that. Look, I think that putting yourself out there in any way, shape or form in this industry is a very good thing, okay? Because you never know who you're going to connect with. You never know who the next Michael Gudinski is going to be. For those of you who don't know who Michael Gudinski is, he's the head person of Mushroom who signed Kylie Minogue, the list, Skyhooks, the list goes on, Jimmy Barnes, the list goes on. So you never know who the next person is that you're going to possibly rub shoulders or run into. So I think putting yourself out is very, very important. That's why I think everyone should have a YouTube channel and put their singing on YouTube, because you never know who's going to be watching.
Well, that's how Justin Bieber started.
Exactly how he started. So look, I think that the reality TV shows are very good for exposure and to get out there and to show yourself to the world. The ethics behind the TV shows, obviously with any media, any form of media, whether that be papers or Facebook or TV, it's about ratings. Facebook try to keep you on their platform as much as they possibly can. And it's a problem now in society, and it's the same with TV. People aren't going to watch a TV show if it's boring. I'm not going to read the front page of the paper if they say the weather is going to be rainy and 18 today.
That's why it's on the back freaking page.
Exactly. That's why there's stuff about the coronavirus or whatever it is that people are interested in at the moment. So you've got to remember, these TV shows are about ratings. They do like
a story.
They do like a story as well too, and it's a lot about the judges as well too, about their reaction. And I just wish that a lot of these TV shows would really, once the person has been discovered, to really propagate them and nurture the artists for 1 or 2 albums coming through so that we can see the development. I just think there's a bit of a churn and burn thing with them. And then it's done, and then the next series is done, and then we don't hear from them, especially on The Voice. I think that sort of happened on The Voice a little. And I wish that there was just a real nurturing and a more sort of a caring aspect about this in the future as well too. And development of an artist. I work closely with a fantastic record company called Unified, and they do a lot more sort of alternative sort of bands, but they're a fantastic record company, and I think their development and their care for their artists is very good. I know they send me a lot of their artists and say, look, you should go and see Peter Vox or Voxing before you go and tour and do things like that. So that's just my opinion on it. I think they're great for exposure, and look, a lot of people have gone on to bigger and better things from them as well too. So
yeah, I guess getting back to stage nerves a little bit, those cattle room calls, right. So how does someone prepare for that situation? Is it very much similar to singing on stage, or what's your tip as a singing teacher? Well, someone on the day, do you carry enough water with you? There's a bunch of stuff, but what would be your tips?
Yeah, with that, the cattle call is generally, they will announce it and they're released on a certain day, and you turn up to a venue which is generally a racing venue, like a Caulfield Racecourse or somewhere like that, a large venue. And you'll be there with thousands of other people waiting around all day. So make sure you're hydrated. Make sure that you've got enough snacks to be consuming during the day, because you could be waiting hours before you go and see. Generally, it's not a judge either. You'll be going in front of a producer or someone that will just be talent scouting there, and then if they think that you've got the talent, you'll get another call back generally on the day, and then it basically just funnels down from there. So they just yeah, that's how it happens. But you could be waiting around for quite a while, so make sure that you're prepared, warmed up, hydrated. It's very, very important. I don't know the exact criteria because it kind of changes every year, but you want to read the criteria, which is like reading the iTunes contract. But you know, it changes all the time. I know I looked through it. I think maybe the season where Lee Harding was in, so it was last season, and I think the cattle call was you had to have 2 songs prepared that were no longer than, I think, a minute. So I think you had to have 2 songs contrasting, fast and slow, or 2 different genres, and they had to go less than a minute. That's what you had. So your cattle call was in front of as it wasn't even a judge. It was one of the directors from the TV company, and you had a minute on each, bang, bang, and that was it. And they said, you haven't got what it takes, or yes, you're going to have a callback. Be prepared to sing your whole song in the callback. So that's generally what it was last year. As I said, it may change. They might say just 1 song this year, but you definitely have a look at what the criteria is. Be warmed up, be ready to go. You want to come straight in and hit them where it hurts. So if you had a good song, you want to basically come in with your best song as well too. So you got to make sure that you're doing a song that you sing very, very well, because you want to show off. You want to show off all of your, I call it peacocking, showing off all of your colours in your voice in 45 seconds to a minute. I know that's what the criteria was last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You mentioned Lee Harding. Fantastic guy from what I've seen of him. But you've also taught Robbie Mills, Mallrat, Butterfly Effect, All Day. The list goes on, as I said. What has it been like teaching these singers, and what have you done with them, as a 2-pronged sort of question?
Yep. You know, every artist is different and every person is different. So it would be quite a big question. With Rob Mills and Lee Harding, for instance, they come from cover band backgrounds. So that's where they come from. So they were doing covers. Well, Lee, when he was in Australian Idol the first time, he wasn't in covers because he was too young then, but Rob Mills was doing covers. And they just come in. Rob Mills, he was developing his skills in the covers, and then the Australian Idol thing came up, and then it was like, okay, we need to really get your voice up and going for this. He was taking his voice, he probably wasn't taking his voice that seriously when he was in covers. He was just doing it for some fun. But when he got this opportunity that came up and he made it into the finals, then it was, yeah, okay, this is really happening, and we got his voice up and going to the best that we could. Would have liked a little bit more time to work with him during that period during Australian Idol. But again, we're working remotely, and he was coming down here so every 2 weeks in between sort of the filming and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's with those guys. Again, with All Day and Mallrat, they were established in their craft, so they had been writing songs. You know, Mallrat I worked with when she was just a teenager, a young teenager, but she'd been already writing for a couple of years and doing it. And same with Tom as well too, from All Day. It's Tom's it's his first name. And again, they were writing for a while, so they were established in their craft, and those people that are doing it are probably the easier people to work with because they're like sponges. They want to progress and be as good as they can, as quickly as they can. So they're great to work with. So they're fantastic. They're working, really hard with me. So a lot of those, the people that have, that are like that really want to make, and it doesn't mean you have to have a record contract. You know, I worked with those people when they didn't have record contracts. The people that really want to succeed and are driven, they're the easier ones to work with because they've got the drive.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie Mills has this goal of, now I want to win Australian Idol. So how can I do that?
That's really what it was, because he was in a cover band before that called the Mega Men. I just pulled that one out of my memory bank then, but that was years ago. The Mega Men, and I don't even know if he wants me to probably bring that up, but we'll bring it up anyway.
Sorry, Rob.
But yeah, I just remember working with Rob, working on his covers in the Mega Men, and he would actually do a lot of sort of parodies to do with some of these songs. So they were hilarious classes and a lot of fun. It was really fun to work with as well too. But that's really just the difference with those people that have got record contracts that I've worked with, that have obtained record contracts. Comes with a lot of hard work, dedication. It's not easy. Anyone in the music industry is a very, very hard industry, and I've taught thousands upon thousands of singers that haven't made it. So everyone just sees my photo boards, my famous photo boards in our waiting rooms of our studios, of the people that have got major label record contracts, and it's great to have that as well too. Yeah. It takes work and dedication, and you've got to love what you're doing.
Definitely. So what you talk about dedication, what do you think it takes if someone out there wants a record label, they know they're singing, they're this intermediate, advanced, what does it take to get a record contract? Dedication being one of them, but what else is it? What is it about Robbie Mills, more out all these people that that are up on your wall that makes them different and peak performers?
Persistence and patience will destroy anyone with natural talent any day. You can have all the natural talent in the world, but if you're sitting in bed playing video games, it's going to do F all to help you out. So you'll see the people. You can just look at the list. Let's look at Ariana Grande. She's been doing it since she was young. You can go onto YouTube and see Ed Sheeran when he was 14 or 15, very average. Adele as well too. Didn't start off as a great singer. All these people. So persistence, keep on doing, finding your passion, and just keep on doing it. That's really what it is, and do the best that you can. Ed Sheeran's not the best singer going around, but I will say the thing that separates the successful artists from the non-successful artists is writing great melodies. And great melodies comes from your voice. You have to create them with your voice.
That's what Ed's so good at.
Fantastic. Writes very good melodies. All successful people write great melodies. And I tell that to all of my guys that have got record contracts. I said, you've got to write great melodies. It doesn't matter whether you're in a post-hardcore band or you're in a pop band or an R&B band. Melodies are what gets hooked. It's the first song. What's the first song that you fell in love with, Tim?
It was either Teenage Dirtbag or Time of Your Life by Green Day.
Great. Now, the reason, when you first heard either of those songs, you wouldn't have known the lyrics to them, but you would have been going, na, 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 na. You would have been humming this thing, or na, 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 na. You would have been doing that firstly, yes?
Yep.
Or it would have been in your head going, wow, I like that song. I need to buy it or listen to it or download it or whatever it is. And that's what it is. That's called a hook or a melody. And the record companies call it a money hook. And that's what makes the successful band successful and the non-successful bands not successful, because they're not writing enough of those.
They're too artistic. Like, people give Nickelback flack for just having too many 4-chord songs.
Yep.
But that's what makes Nickelback so good. They still have to write those catchy melodies. Like the song Afternoon, the song...
it's an art. These people, like, I was working on a song. By the guy from Powderfinger, Bernard Fanning. Wish You Well. And one of my guys was going, we were working on it in the class, and he's going, I don't want to work on this because it's only got 2 chords. And I'm going, it doesn't matter whether it's got no chords. It's the melody over the top that was created by the singer. Now you can't, it's a skill that can be developed, and I give my guys 1, 3, 1, 5, 1. I give them melody creation scales to create that, to do that. That's an art within itself, and to create great melodies is it's a skill, and that's what separates the people that are making money in this industry to the people that aren't. That's really what it is. And the bottom line is you've got to create it with your voice, and you don't need a big range to create that. Amy Winehouse didn't have a big range at all. She had a very small range, great melodies. Adele, she's got a very good range, sings with a lot of passion and feeling. Again, her chords are very simple. Ed Sheeran's chords are very simple. He's got some unique strumming patterns.
I play a lot of his songs on guitar.
Very simple structures. You just need to, if you can actually YouTube, you can go to YouTube and you can go hit songs that have the same 2 or 3 chords in it, and there's thousands.
Yeah, you've seen Axis of Awesome's 4-chord song, right?
No, is that the one where they're just doing like?
It's
50?
It's a comedy thing, but they just do the same. It's they start off by playing "Don't Stop Believing."
I have seen it. Yes.
And then they pump out like 20, 40 other songs just by changing. So they'll do the chords, and then they'll go double time and
same chords.
Same chords.
So this,
and that's the fact is though that shouldn't be looked down upon, and people look down upon it because they think they need to write this complicated thing. But what you're saying is, no, stick to the melody.
Yeah, great melody is what makes it. Tool have just come out. And if it wasn't for Tool's first album, which had Sober on it, some shorter, more commercial, non-prog songs, they never would have broken to the next level there. So they wrote very commercial songs in that first album. And then once they got a foothold in, they started to write more of their prog type of things, but it's really prog type of songs. It's really to do with melody. You've got to write a great melody. That's all it is, and that's created with the voice. And it is a skill that if people want to write their own original tracks. But with beginners, you don't have to do that. Just sing along to your favourite songs. Make sure it's comfortable for your voice. That's really where it is. So.
Definitely. So you were telling me about a really cool thing that you guys do as a singing academy. A lot of singing academies don't provide this. I haven't seen them. If they do, whatever. But within 3 to 5 weeks, you can take someone basically from the street, hopefully not homeless, but
homeless people can come to our singing lessons if they want.
Yeah, they've done their busking for the day, and they want to then pay for the lessons. You never know, you might find the next radio guy. Remember the radio guy? Anyway, but you can take someone that wants to sing in 3 to 5 weeks. They'll be happy with their voice, the strength, depth, tone, confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Yes.
And you guarantee that as well.
Yes. If you do what our professional teachers tell you to do. Okay, so we're going to be getting you onto a scales workout. Scales are played on piano, and they're ma with your voice. We've got lots of different scales to work on different areas of your voice. Maybe we want to work on falsetto. We give you falsetto scales, higher range, breathing support. So these will be customized and recorded for every single student. And this will be your homework. It's like going to the gym for your voice. So you'll be doing this for a length of time. So some younger students will only be doing it for maybe 5 minutes, but we might tell you to do it for 15 minutes. This is going to strengthen your voice, teach you new skills, give you confidence within your abilities so that we can apply these skills directly into the songs that we're learning. So we'd always have a little bit of a chat with the new student as well too that's coming in. We want to find out genre of music they're interested in singing. That's very important because we want to do songs that they like to do. Their experience, if they've had any. So that's very, very important as well. If they're a straight beginner, we're going to start them off at the beginning. But after 3 to 5 weeks, you will be feeling stronger after practicing for the amount that the teacher has told you. You would have developed more confidence, and you would have been working on at least a couple of songs by that time and had at least 1 or 2 songs down 110% that you could perform up in karaoke or up on stage or wherever it is. And that's our guarantee. Got to follow the teacher's instructions though.
Yeah, it's like going to the gym essentially. I wouldn't expect my personal trainer to run me a program and then I don't go to the gym on the days that he tells me to do and then go back to him and say, hey, give me a refund.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you've got to do what the teacher tells you to do. And we have a very, a thorough assessment on the first lesson. All our teachers are very highly trained, so they would only get the student to sing a verse and a chorus, and we can assess what needs to be done. I suppose it's like walking or a mechanic looking underneath the hood, or even just hearing a car. Sometimes you can hear what's going on, and we do the same thing. So we can assess whether they need to work on their breathing or work on their articulation or their higher range or their falsetto, whatever it might be for whatever they want to accomplish within that period of time.
Definitely. I just want to ask, what are the first... So someone's singing in the shower, they're singing in the car, they're seeing their boyfriend or girlfriend saying, you've got a good voice, or their family going, you can sing.
Yep.
What are the indicators that someone should listen to be like, oh, maybe it's worth me going to and getting lessons?
Well, look, I think that if you like singing, everyone should do it, because it's something that anyone can do. If you've got a voice, you can sing. If you want to take it further, I think it's a natural thing that you would hear, go, I kind of can sing, I'm in key, I sound okay. You generally know yourself. You'd say, I sound okay singing this song. And one thing leads to the next. That's really the indicator, really. You'd hear yourself. But if you want a better indication of that, learn a song 110%, because that's going to help your presentation of the song. Sing along with the song, once you know it 110%, with the instrumental. You can source free instrumentals off YouTube. And then record yourself on your phone, and you can hear yourself, and that's the best indicator. And then if you hear that something's not right, you can try to improve it yourself or get professional help. Hopefully from Vox Singing Academy.
Yeah, fantastic. Peter, I think that's a really awesome spot to leave it on. Yep. But 2 more questions that I ask everybody that comes on the show, and it's a bit of a fun accountability thing for me. We love accountability, you and I. But it's a good one. What's coming up for you in the next sort of 6 to 12 months that you're really excited about? It could either be professionally with Vox or personally. Yeah, what are you really pumped about?
Really excited about Vox Singing Academy where it is, because we've developed a great brand over the last 27 years, and we've got a fantastic group of teachers working for us that are really passionate and love what they're doing. So we're expanding, basically. So, we want to get busier in the studios that we're currently at, but we're looking to expand into the CBD, Hawthorne, Geelong. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about the group of people that are working for us. And these people are going to be the next generation, because, I'm trying to create a legacy here. So, it's also making Vox run autonomously as well too, and train that. Well, everyone's pretty much trained up. It could run by itself right now. So that's what I'm looking to do, to step away slightly to focus on the online course, because I really think that's the future of
education.
Education.
You're a teacher.
Yeah, education in the big form, even with universities, but is online, and we have the ultimate online singing course. So I really want to focus on that, marketing on that, because no one really knows about it, because we've been really marketing Vox Singing Academy. So that's what I'll be focusing on in the next 12 months to 24 months. That's what I will be focusing on. So exciting times.
Yeah, well, I'll get you back on the show to have a deeper chat about the online course at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'd be great.
Cool. And Peter, usually I ask if someone wants to reach out to you and have a question, where do they do it? But I think a better question for you would be, if someone's listening to this and they want to get singing lessons,
yep,
how do they contact yourself?
You can contact us on our number, which is 0422 78289. But you can just Google us as well too, Vox Singing Academy, and we'll come up anywhere.
VOX?
VOX, yeah, Vox Singing Academy. Our website is voxsingingacademy.com.au. The ultimate online singing course is voxsingingacademy.com. So that's where you can contact us. But we're on all forums as well too. So
and even my listeners, you in America, I've got international listeners as well. So they're a perfect example. If you want to be trained by someone that's taught really high professional people and want to do the online thing, you can probably find information on that as well.
Yeah, I just gave a lesson Portland, Oregon to Rachel Brown up there in Portland, Oregon. So we teach all around the world via Skype and Zoom. Yep. So we're doing that. So yeah, it's anywhere. You can get singing lessons anywhere. You can get us if you have any questions. You can get me on Facebook, social media, Instagram. We have 2 YouTube channels as well too. Vox Singing Academy, which is more of our podcasts and interviews, and we have the 5-Minute Singer, Ask Vox Singing Academy YouTube channel as well too, which have more free tutorials. So if you want great free quality content, you can go and have a look on those 2 YouTube channels if you want to just wet your feet with singing.
Fantastic. Well, Peter, I've been Tim, you've been Peter, and we've been talking. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, thank you.